What's up, Metal Summoners? We are so super stoked to be back live with you. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and dropping down on your island of misfit toys with myself and Angel. We're throwing it down with you guys this week. As always, we are super duper excited to have you guys, like I said, and we're going to jump right into it, have a lot of fun with our friends, and talk about everything that's coming up with them. We got to welcome and say thank you to Atomic Kings. Thank you so much, guys, and welcome to the Metal Summit.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Super duper stoked to have you guys, of course, for sure. Thank you so much again for taking a little bit of time out of your evening. You guys got done with your rehearsal, and we'll jump right into it with what you've got coming up because you guys are playing a benefit this weekend.
We are.
Go ahead.
We're playing a benefit for a great friend of ours. His name is Heath Underwood. He's probably one of the nicest guys you ever met, and he was diagnosed with cancer. So a lot of friends, a lot of bands, musicians are all getting together and holding a benefit for him this Sunday. And that thing's going from like 12 to 10.
Oh, wow.
So, and you can find that on Facebook. It's under Heath Underwood Benefit. And at that point, you'll see the other words that are on there.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a PG show.
Yeah, no, 100%.
He's a great guy, and we're very, very happy to do it for sure.
Absolutely. And you had mentioned off the air that he's also a big fan of your band, so that's super cool that you guys are playing that for him.
Well, all the other bands playing at it are cover bands, which is cool. And he reached out, like I said, he's been friends with all of us for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And apparently we're one of his favorite bands. And he said, would you guys please do this? And so we weren't even rehearsing for anything. We've been writing songs for the upcoming second Atomic Kings record. Mm-hmm. So we stopped what we were doing and put together a real short set, just kind of go out and, help out and kind of honor our friend.
And Heath is actually playing. He's a singer in a band called Unfiltered. So his band is also playing there along with a lot of great bands. And actually, Heath and Greg did a stint together too for a while, didn't you guys?
With Heath?
Yeah, short time.
Yeah. This was back during my I want to be a guitar player phase.
Yeah. It was.
Before you felt that less strings were better?
Before everyone decided it for me.
He likes the bigger strings.
It's like, what are you doing? You're not a guitar player or bass player. Yeah, shut up. Now I'm a drummer.
He's so fickle.
So fickle. No, absolutely, for sure. But you said you guys are working on the new Atomic Kings album, but you guys have a new single out recently, All I Want.
That's from the existing record.
The existing record.
Yeah.
The first single, the second single was a song called Live, and the third single was Take My Hand, and we'll actually be playing all those at Heath's benefit. But we got, as much traction as we could, considering, it's really hard for us to go out of state and do a bunch of shows and that kind of thing. So we've actually changed labels since then, and we're, kind of looking forward to doing this next record and getting some proper promotion and marketing and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. And shout out to Tom and everybody at Fire Rock.
That's right.
They really seem to be doing a lot of great stuff for us, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. How did that relationship come about with joining that label?
There's a guy named Michael Wilkerson who I've been friends with on Facebook, and he was aware of my resume, so to speak. And he heard some of the Atomic King stuff, and he reached out to me about, we'd love to be able to, have you on our label. We think we could, do you guys justice. So we talked to him about it. At the time, our record had only been out for a few months. And so we said, yeah, we'd like to be involved with you guys, but how about if we do some kind of distribution deal or something for the existing record? And they were all over that. So we signed a deal with them to do distribution for this existing record, and then they want to be involved on the second record. So we've written about 5 songs or 5 or 6 songs for this upcoming record. Yeah. And no one's really heard very much of it. And we'll probably write another 6 or 8 songs. And when we get to the point where we think we've said everything we need to say, we'll kind of whittle it down and pick the ones we want. And we've been playing one of the songs that we've written that isn't on the record live since last March. So some of the stuff we've had a chance to kind of air it out in public and see what the response is, and it's been real promising.
Nice, very very cool. When it comes to putting, oh excuse me, when it comes to putting together the new record, do you have a rough time frame for what you gents are aiming for?
I'd love to have it come out in the fall.
Yeah, probably in the fall, early spring.
The thing about us is that we have a backlog of songs that we really want to get up and running. So it's writing the songs is not really a problem because we're always writing. There's probably about 10 or 12 songs between the four of us that haven't been addressed yet, and there's even some stuff from the previous album sessions that we want to revisit and kind of take some of these really cool, neat ideas and flesh them out more. So there's tons of stuff that we are excited to do. Hopefully we'll be in the studio in the summer and maybe a fall release, but we'll see. It's kind of, well, that's the hope. But if it gets
whenever
back
it's
to
ready,
2025, that's cool too. But like I said, it's no problem writing this stuff. It's not like we're sitting around staring at each other going like, okay, what do you got? It's all kind of
Not
there,
until we get
demoed
here.
out, and like, all right, let's do this one. Then I know Greg's got one, and Jimmy's got one. So
Writer's block isn't a problem for us. So,
No.
I mean, and the funny thing is, Ryan and Jimmy could be playing something, or the three of us could be playing something, or and then Ken will come in and go, "We need to make a song out of that."
yeah,
So I mean, I could be tuning.
That actually happens at every rehearsal.
I could be tuning my bass, and we need to make a song out of that. I'm tuning my bass here.
let me get my phone out. I got to record it. Hang on, I got to record that.
What'd you guys just play? We have no idea. So yeah, writing isn't our problem. It's just finding stuff that that really resonates with us personally. And normally, if that works for us, it's probably a pretty good chance that it's going to resonate with the people that come and see us. We have a show lined up. We do a free show every March. We're at Bizarre Guitar and Drum here in Phoenix, which is where Ryan and I work. It's the store that I run, and we actually rehearse in the back, which is why all the guitar cases, you can see them there. And so once a year, the first weekend of March 2nd this year, they do a street fair, and they block off a half mile of street, and they have vendors and food trucks and a bunch of different bands and a stage. So it kills my business here in the store. So to protest that, we decided a couple of years ago to play out front with our Marshalls and our SVTs and Jimmy's drum set.
We aim it at the other band down the street.
Thinking we might get 20 minutes before they shut us down. Well, we ended up playing 45 minutes, and everyone loved it. And we got a gig with Ace Frehley, opening for Ace Frehley at the time because of it. So last year we went out and did it again. It was a big success. So now, as March is approaching, I hate to say that already because it's only the beginning of January, but people are already asking, are you guys playing in front of the store?
Yeah.
And so I actually put a post out yesterday saying, yes, March 2nd at noon, Atomic Kings live. We call it the parking lot show. And people will show up. I mean, several thousand people come to this event, and we play at noon, which there's usually a lot of people there by then. And even if you don't like us, you get to hear us.
That's right.
So many blocks away.
If you work for the city of Phoenix, we're just kidding.
So we'll debut some new material there. We'll probably debut 3 or 4 songs that we've never played live before. It gives us just a chance to reflect on it after we're done and see if there's any changes we want to make or whatever.
Test the waters.
And it's just, and to see what the response is. And last year we played a bunch of new material, and the response was fantastic. So it's interesting.
A lot of fun.
Absolutely, for sure. And before I kick it down to Angel, like, how have you always found when it comes to just overall chemistry when it comes to putting out like new music? Because where, of course, you're going to be honing it between the different parts that you guys are each creating to what you may put together in like a studio. But is there any particular kind of like gelling or chemistry that you find kind of will come out when you get to test out the waters with some of these songs live?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, even the songs from our first record, just rehearsing them tonight, you can kind of see us experimenting with things. We're not straying too far off the mark, but
certainly having fun with it for sure.
It gives it, like, we're very improvisational anyway, so we kind of pick our spots to be improvisational, and that makes us when we come to writing, that improvisation translates into the writing process as well. So, and the more we play together, the more we gel, the more that we kind of listen to each other, and the easier it is to work out new material because we've got that history now together, after our first record.
I mean, when we're playing the existing material, Jimmy will change something that maybe he'll do something he hadn't done before in a song, which will lead me to do something that I haven't done. And Ken will even change some stuff here and there. So we're all always looking for new avenues to kind of explore within the construct of the song.
Nice. No, absolutely. 100% for sure. Angel, let's kick it down to you for a little bit, my guy.
I want to say thank you guys for your time, man. How fucking awesome to have this.
Oh,
band
it's our
together.
pleasure. We appreciate it. We appreciate the airplay.
Full band action.
We love full band action, do we?
Yes.
Absolutely. Way more fun. Otherwise, all they want to do is have interviews with Jimmy.
We get tired of Jimmy doing all the damn
We're
interviews.
sick.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
sick
we-
of Jimmy doing all the interviews with
How
us.
did you start playing
No,
drums?
he cannot get LSD now.
All you ever hear is him talking.
Right. Jimmy, do you ever have a case of LSD?
Let me answer that for you.
No, and I don't take that stuff either.
Anymore.
Stay away from drugs, kid.
You stay in school.
See what happened to Ken
I know,
when he did.
That's right.
You don't want to end up like him.
I know, I was thinking of lead, what do they call it? Lead singer syndrome? Yeah.
Lead singer
Yeah, that-
disease. LSD.
That's my job.
Yeah.
And he's really good at it. He lettered in it. He got his varsity
yeah.
letter in LSD.
Trophies. I'm actually thinking of starting a website teaching
Of course.
the younger singers how to really perfect that.
How to be an ass.
Yeah.
Show up
There
late.
you go.
First of all, you show up late.
Only bring your mic stand.
Only bring a mic stand,
Yeah.
if that. You might not even have to bring
And
it.
don't bring a good one. Bring one you need to tape together and stuff so you can screw with it during the whole rehearsal.
Yeah.
Do 4
Cut
shots
the
of
set
wild
short.
turkey before the set.
Damn. I need to try that one.
That's just for him. That he doesn't share that with us.
Yeah.
I thought Sharon was caring. What's up with that? With the songs you guys have worked on, what can you, without giving it away, of course, what can you say about the songs that you guys have written so far?
I'd say that they're
They're very Atomic Kings.
they're
Sounds
like they're similar to what we've written on the first record, but a progression forward.
Yeah.
So we all have a lot of different influences that we like to bring into it. So at some point, it's probably more bluesier or more rockier or more riffier. It might have a little bit more progressive nature to parts of it. We don't really limit ourselves with what we write. We just write what we like. And if it makes a left turn and goes off somewhere that's completely weird, we don't have a problem with it. And it's just part of the beauty of doing this thing for us is that we don't, because we don't have any limitations, everything's on the table all the time.
Yeah, we don't have a playbook we go by.
Yeah.
Right.
Since there is no
So-
real rock radio anymore, like satellite radio, there's not a whole lot of it. So there's no demands on, you got to make something that fits into this 3-minute format or anything like that. We just kind of do what we do.
So does that kind of give you the freedom of the fact, like, let's say before you had to make a song that was for radio, where now you can just pretty much have the freedom, the reins to do whatever you want musically?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so for sure.
We do, and then the beauty of it is you end up with something like "All I Want" that ends up being a very popular song. We got a lot of airplay nationwide and including overseas with that particular track. And it wasn't written to be a commercial song in any stretch of the imagination. It's probably not even that commercial of a song. But the way that we write is we're very hook oriented. We're into writing a riff that's memorable, or a melody line that's memorable, or a chorus that's memorable, or a beat that's memorable. So we're always looking for something that when someone hears the song or sees this play, that they can walk away from it humming that particular whatever song they liked, whatever particular song it is, and later on when they're going, what is that? Oh, that's Take My Hand, that Atomic King song. That's kind of like the reward of writing for us, is the fact that it seems to resonate with quite a few people and they seem to like it and remember it.
We have Ryan James that says, demand that shit on the radio, tweet it, make them know what you want. Yeah, definitely. That's another good thing to do. Is, hit up promoters, say, hey, this is who you want to come to your area, and hit up radio and tweet them, do whatever. Because I know people don't call anymore, so I guess tweeting or texting it.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the beauty of us being part of Fire Rock now, is because they are actually promoting the music. We're getting radio airplay in back east at quite a few stations that they've kind of set up for us, and then some stuff in other areas of the country as well. And so when the record first came out, we didn't have that. We didn't have any kind of machinery behind us at all, and it was just kind of based on stuff we had done in the past, stuff that I'd done, and maybe getting people to listen to it because of our resume or my resume. Now, because of the way that Fire Rock has worked with us, it's kind of looked at as a group project, and people seem to be finding it just on the merits of its own material, of its own stuff. So,
Yeah, no,
And
it was
One thing with Fire Rock is when we first released the first album, we were getting a lot of people from overseas and other countries that were wanting to get the album, and they couldn't get it. I mean, they could get it, but the shipping fees and stuff were so insane that they were kind of forced to stream, or they just wouldn't get it. And so the nice thing is that Fire Rock has come in and now that first album is available at Europe, anywhere you want, Germany, and so they're really pushing it in other countries, and really the United States probably 4 or 5 down the list on the rock and roll scene. So some of those other countries are where it's really doing great, which was unavailable.
Baltimore Underground. You guys are also doing well there as well on Baltimore Underground.
yeah,
They were really.
All I Want was #1 there for a couple of weeks. And, when you're competing with bands that are on major labels or have major machinery behind them and promotional people and all that, and somebody like us can get a #1 song for 2 weeks by doing it ourselves, that's pretty gratifying.
Yeah.
And look, it's almost Valentine's Day, guys.
Yes.
You know what
Right?
song to listen to.
Get your girl in a
Jay,
top-
you gotta listen to Jay. You gotta listen to the lyrics, Jay.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Just
Hey, I'm just trying to help the guys with the chicks. That's all.
Get your better half a CD, shirt, and a flower.
Just a candlelight dinner with All I Want playing in the background.
A candlelight.
There you go.
all of us.
See,
I'm down for that. I'm sure Megan would appreciate that. Just having a nice dinner, having all I want.
could
is she
actually-
listening? Oh, Jay,
For a certain
Is
fee,
Megan
you can
listening,
have
by
all
the
of us
way?
over for a candlelight
Right.
dinner.
I'd like a candlelight dinner right now. I'm hungry.
I'm trying to figure this out. There we go.
oh, she's listening.
She's right there. Yep.
Oh,
Talking
see,
about you.
Megan, we're helping you
The,
out.
the band says that we need to have a candlelight dinner for Valentine's Day with their song "All I Want" playing in the background.
And all 4 of us there.
Actually, I think
And-
you should
yeah.
just fly us out and we'll sing it to her.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we have a thing available where you can get shirts, CDs, or you can fly us out and we will
See,
eat dinner.
what a Valentine's Day gift.
Picture of Ken and a-
Serenade, Atomic King Serenade. I like.
That's right.
Gosh, this almost want to make me want to get a girlfriend, but no, that's all right.
Not quite.
Well, if you're looking for
Just what you need there, cowboy.
just
you
play
don't-
some Atomic Kings.
You don't have to have a girlfriend to have us over for dinner.
That is true.
You don't have to have a girlfriend to have us over.
Having a
for
girlfriend is
dinner.
not a
I love
requirement
it.
to invite us to dinner, just so you know.
All right. Yeah, so guys, listen up. Get the album first. You got to get the album. If you want to get laid, you definitely got to get the album. You're not going to get laid if you don't get the album. and play the song.
Rules.
Right.
I didn't realize we made
Maybe
a
throw a T-shirt in there.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, it's a good way. Hey, it's a good way to sell records.
They're all
Imagine getting
love
laid.
songs.
Buy the
I love it.
album. Shoot, I'll buy the album if it means I'm going to get laid.
Hey, we'll do you a favor. We'll send you one if it works out for you.
Nice.
There you go.
There we go.
We got to help a brother out.
I appreciate it.
I think.
Okay.
We're gonna call the next album "Get Angel a Woman."
Yeah.
There you go.
Womanizer, womanizer, womanizer.
We could be subliminally called women and angels.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to work on that.
Let me get it.
That's
Let
not
me
a
get
good title.
Where's my phone?
What does that say?
You're asking me?
What's that say?
Was that
Oh,
say, Angel?
with a full band, describe Atomic Kings and your part in it in 60 seconds or less.
Well, that's not possible.
Well, in that case, I write all the songs by myself. I write all the drum parts and all the vocal parts by myself. Don't let these guys fool you. I do everything. As a matter of fact, I played the drums on the record. I sang on it and played the guitar. I feel bad letting the cat out of the bag, but it's got to happen.
Matter of fact, all
Oh,
four
man.
photos are all of him.
They're all me.
Blabbermouth's going to be all over this tomorrow.
My name is Ryan, and I got my 60 seconds to say that Greg is full of shit.
Wow. That would hurt my feelings if I had any.
It causes him some weird discomfort right here, where where most people have a heart. Right. Anyway,
I'd look.
We
It's
all
okay to have a
basically.
heart.
I mean,
Still in the same place, I remember.
we
We
all
can make this a group therapy session.
we all participate in the writing process. So, I mean, we're always kind of, for lack of a better term, in each other's business. And so, I get involved with what Brian's does. They get involved with what I do with Ken. So it's very much a group effort. The sum total of the parts is more important to us than the individual, whatever. And so that's kind of like what the deal is for us. I mean, you guys go ahead. That was my 60 seconds for real.
It's a very organic process, really. It's for the four of us love what the other three do, and we enjoy playing and writing together, and that's it, really good things come out of those kinds of things.
is that how you want to use your 60 seconds?
That's all I got, folks.
That's all he's got.
Somebody can.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
I'd like to give up my other 40 seconds to somebody else.
Jimmy, tell them about Peter Chris.
Don't get that backwards.
Huh?
Nothing.
Wow. Yeah, what they said.
Is that it? No, I gave you my 40 seconds. You have a
Oh,
minute and 40.
I got more time.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's going to be your longest
I'm
interview
going to
ever.
pull an Alex Lyson right now. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah.
All right.
Blah. Oh,
That's
Blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
time.
That, folks, is why Jimmy writes most of our lyrics for the. If I ever get writer's block, I just call Jimmy, say, Jimmy, you got anything? Blah, blah. Ah, shit. Never mind. I will absolutely come up with something.
That's why he writes all the lyrics, but stays back behind the kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's up for interpretation.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, a lot of times, Greg and Ryan, because they work here at the store, Greg will bring something in, introduce it to Ryan, vice versa. They kind of hash out some initial ideas, put some stuff together. We come in for a rehearsal. They introduce it to me. Typically, because Ken's always late, we have some time to actually work out some of the nuts and bolts of a new piece.
Late is not really the color.
No, it is.
I'm
It's 100% the correct word.
For a singer
I'm not-
with LSD, it's
late is
always,
the wrong-
he's always on time.
I'm just the fourth one here.
That's typically how they start. These guys will come up with an idea, or there's been a few times where I've kind of mapped out a drum piece, and they'll write around that. So typically somebody's bringing an idea to the
Yeah,
other
you
guys,
really
and
never
we
know
kinda
where it's
just
going to come from.
build it from there.
You know, speaking of All I Want, that actually is a riff that Greg had in the 70s.
Yeah, I had
So you never really know where the ideas are going to come from.
it's something that I had most of that song written the way that it is back in like 1979, and I just never could find the right group of people to make it actually work. And I actually tried to submit it on a previous album that me and Ryan and Jimmy did, and for some reason it didn't fly. So when we got together, we got Ken and started Atomic Kings. The first song we worked on was "Take My," I mean,
guess it
"All I
was,
Want,"
huh?
Yeah,
and that,
Sure was.
because I said, look, I know that this has kind of been put on the side. I think there's really something here. Let's just put it together, and if it doesn't work, we'll figure it out. And it came together pretty quickly. And whenever you have an idea that's written that long ago, that's kind of been in your head for that long, makes you insane. It's always nice when it comes together and it works out. You know, the way that you heard it in your head is the way that we play it. So I'm happy with it. And then the harmonica part was something that I didn't even know Ken played harmonica. And so he was fooling around on the harmonica. And so we were discussing, you know, you should, in this one part, put harmonica. And it actually worked out really good. So that wasn't in my original blueprint of the song, but the fact that harmonica part in there really is kind of the icing on the cake.
Oh, nice. No, that's super duper cool. Ken, why don't you talk a little bit about getting involved with the guys, since they were all kind of familiar with each other outside of Atomic Kings? Like, how did you get involved with the guys? Did you have a previous relationship, just in general?
Yeah. I mean, you know, Jimmy and I go back probably 30 years, I guess, 25 years. Jimmy and I were in a project together way back when, and you know, I've known of Ryan, and I was actually seeking Ryan out because I was listening to the songs from some of their earlier stuff, and right away I thought, man, I love that, the guitar playing and the tones and the style. And you know, Greg and I have been friends a very long time, and Greg and I were kind of messing around with a project, you know, before Atomic Kings, and you know, when things weren't working out over there, you know, one thing led to another, and they found themselves needing a singer. And
I mean, Ken was really the only
You know.
choice. We didn't even, when we decided to redo the band, kind of do a reboot that me and Jimmy and Ryan decided to do a reboot and boot out our previous singer and get Ken. We decided, you know, when I said that we were going to redo this, they both said, "Who are we going to get to sing?" And I said, "Ken Rock." And then Jimmy said, "I know him."
Jimmy said, "Are you out of here?"
Yeah,
Are you crazy?
so it was kind of like.
Bad case of LSD.
So I had a lot of people
Asshole.
sending me messages saying, "Hey, I'd love to audition for whatever it is you're going to do." And I said, "Well, let me see what happens here." And I didn't want to blow anyone off, but I had a feeling from Ken and I trying to do this cover project that went south really quickly, that Ken was actually the right voice for the direction that we wanted to go into. We kind of outkicked the coverage in the previous band. And so we wanted to go in a slightly different direction and really kind of explore something a little bluesier, a little funkier, that sort of thing. And I think Ken afforded us that. So if Ken hadn't worked out, I'm sure there would have been some kind of adjustment, but I was sure right out of the box that Ken would be the guy. And, you know,
We're still not sure, but
yeah,
There's still
it's nice when a plan comes together.
He's the only one that's
we're still thinking
sure.
about whether or not he's going to work out, but we're trying to keep him in touch.
he keeps showing up, and he's got that going for him.
Yeah.
Even if he's late.
Better keep your nose clean there, Ken.
Right.
He could be out of here tonight.
So I'd like to thank you guys for having me on the final interview ever.
Yeah, seriously. The Metal Summit exclusive, the execution of Ken from Atomic Kings.
P.O. Box.
If you guys would like the address where rehearsals will be held, just hit me up.
Seriously, all singers watching this
Most of the
episode,
front
is,
door.
you know, once the episode clicks off air, the inbox will be open for submission. No, that's awesome, man, for sure. Angel, let me kick it back down to you, buddy. Looks like we got a few more questions popping up.
Oh, yes, we do. What band got you into music?
Who's that for?
The whole band.
Full band.
Ooh. Well, how much time you got for that one?
Wow.
Well,
We got like
My favorite
about
band like
6
that was-
hours.
We'll let Ryan begin.
I guess my favorite band when I was a little kid was Kiss, and then as I got older, I started to. When I got into playing guitar, I found all kinds of other great guitar players to admire, including guys like Robin Trower, Michael Schenker, Uli John Roth, and David Gilmour,
Me.
Greg Chason. They're all lots of different guys.
Back in his guitar
you know,
days.
and so that's me. Go ahead, somebody else.
What got me into music? Wow.
What band?
What band?
Band.
Yeah,
Quickly
not,
now.
not just
The
what
Fred
got you
Winkleman Trio.
Yes. I think
The
it,
Andrews
in. Beer and
sisters.
chicks
I
doesn't
think it
count.
was-
They're wanting a band
I
name.
think it was Donny Osmond.
Donny Osmond.
What? So,
And they called it.
Wow.
don't.
Donny Osmond. See, I didn't know that before I joined the band.
So, now, really,
now we're starting.
his last interview.
Some of those drum beats are really starting to make sense, folks.
I think the band that got me wanting to play drums was also Kiss, but quickly
Kiss
started
Army
getting
here.
into a whole lot of other,
Guys
whole
who
lot
can
of
play.
other, yeah,
Show them.
a whole lot of other,
It's a good
whole lot
entry
of other
point.
bands.
It's a good entry point when you're 5.
Yeah,
All right, Ken.
Kiss had absolutely nothing to do with me becoming a singer,
And
and no. Boy, you know what? Musically, I was actually getting into music when I was very, very young, and it was a huge variety of
Civil War music.
Civil War music, and now Free bands like Free, obviously Zeppelin. I share the Robin Trower with Ryan because I'm a big fan of Jimmy Duvall and his vocals.
Yeah, killer.
And boy, I loved a lot of different stuff. I like a lot of Glenn Campbell, Elvis Presley, Freddie Mercury. Boy, it's a big long list for me.
for me, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. I became a musician in 1971. So all the bands that a lot of people were finding out later, I was actually around when that was actually happening. So like really early Grand Funk or The Who, like Who Live at Leeds, Wishbone Ash, Argus, and on and on, the same kind of stuff that these guys liked. Sort of Kiss. I became a musician before Kiss happened, and I actually didn't get it. But the thing for me was like I was influenced by so many different genres of it, whether it was the Southern rock thing or the hard rock thing or the Deep Purple thing or the bluesy thing or the funkier thing. So all that kind of became the template for how I play and also for how, that we write.
Wow, very
By the time you put all of what you just heard together, you can now Atomic Kings makes sense to you.
And if it does, please tell us because it makes no sense to us.
let us know how our blueprint works.
Yeah.
right.
No, that's super cool. Greg, were you in back at that time? Like, were you into like Skinner and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, and Allman Brothers, Skinner, Marshall Tucker, really the earlier ZZ Top, the first 3 or 4 records before they got the furry guitars, all that kind of stuff. There's a band from Texas called Point Blank. I was a big fan of that. And then all the British blues band sort of things, whether it was when Fleetwood Mac was kind of bluesy to, Free, and of course Deep Purple and all that kind of stuff. So my influences are very, very wide, and I kind of draw from all of them. Even a lot of fusion stuff. When fusions first started happening, I really kind of got into that. Return to Forever and Mahavishnu, Weather Report, and all that stuff. So it all kind of shows up. All of our influences kind of show up at different points.
They really do.
And it actually makes it easy because if we don't have someone breathing down our back about what we're doing, to be able to use some of those kind of influences where, back in the day, you had record companies wanting a single and a this and a that, and don't do that. We don't like this song. You have someone picking your songs for you. We pick our own songs. And unless someone's going to throw some big money on the table, we're going to just keep doing what we're doing.
Absolutely, for sure. And being a bass guy, like, what did you think, and how did you look at Deep Purple, like when Glenn Hughes was fronting them?
I loved when Glenn Hughes joined. I mean, I was a big fan of the very first Deep Purple record, the one that had Hush on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, when In Rock came out, I bought into Mach 2. And my favorite Deep Purple album is actually Fireball. And so that was really great. And when they did Who Do We Think We Are, I thought that I could see, just as a fan, that something wasn't working right. There's still some good songs on there, but I could see that there was a disconnect somewhere. So when they got Glenn Hughes, and I was already a big Glenn Hughes fan because of Trapeze. So I thought, okay, this is going to be really great. And of course, no one knew who Coverdale was. So that record, Burn, is one. I mean,
That's maybe my favorite.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
that might be my second favorite
it's
album.
probably
right
my
now.
favorite.
So,
I really
think
love Perfect Strangers.
I think Glenn and Roger Glover are two completely different kind of bass players. Obviously, Glenn's more funky. Roger is very underrated. He's a really good bass player, and you just have to kind of dissect some of the stuff off Machine Head or off of Fireball. Just listen to No 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 or something like that. There's some killer bass parts in there. So he kind of gets overlooked in the bass player category where he should be. And the thing about Roger too, read things about him. He doesn't seem to care that people don't really, that he's not right on the tip of everyone's tongue.
Sure.
Like Chris Squire or Entwistle. He's his own kind of bass player that fits in good. Same with Glenn. I mean, those are very iconic bass players, and I was influenced by both of them for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I've always been a really big Queen fan myself, and I've always kind of felt that same way about John Deacon because John himself has always just been so quiet. He's such an amazing songwriter and a great bassist, but I feel like he kind of is that same kind of guy who like doesn't get forgotten about, but just kind of gets forgotten about in just the casual conversation because he was always so quiet about himself.
Well,
He's actually a great singer too.
The problem with someone like that, when you're in a band that has someone that's as so over the top as Freddie Mercury was, and then you got Brian May, who really kind of has a style completely on his, it doesn't really, you can't really pick out who his influences are, so to speak, other than maybe Hendrix or Beck. And then Roger Taylor, who's a very underrated drummer. I mean, one of the best concerts I ever saw was Queen. I think it was Day at the Races concert here in Phoenix, and they had Thin Lizzy opening for them. And I thought,
good Lord,
I wasn't even that big of a Queen fan, and I thought, well, I'm going to go see Thin Lizzy. And the plus part was Gary Moore was in the band on this tour, and I didn't know it, so I was a big Gary Moore fan already. And Thin Lizzy was amazing, and I thought, there's no way Queen can top that. And Queen just came out, and I was like, for like an hour and 45 minutes, I was like, what? And it was absolutely amazing. And you don't even really, when you're in a band, it's kind of like Michael Anthony. When you're in Van Halen and you're a bass player, it's pretty hard to get noticed. And, all that anyone ever says about Mike is that, oh, he's a great singer. Well, if you listen to some of those Van Halen records, some of the earlier ones, and listen to what he does in Hot for Teacher or what he does in some of these other, there's some very complicated bass parts in there. But when you play with guys that's David Lee Roth, how are you going to top that? In his heyday, the best front man of his time. And then Eddie, who's the prime innovator of our time. And then I think Alex is a great drummer. So each player, kind of gets overlooked in some of the. So like the bass player in Queen or Mike, Michael Anthony, some of these guys, you don't even notice how great they are because there's so much other stuff going on. I had some of that with Badlands, but I don't think it really bothers those guys. And I'm going to say that I just know that because it never really bothered me. I was in a band with Jake and with Ray, and Eric Singer was, is still a great drummer. And so the focus, if you read stuff about Badlands, they say Jakey Lee this and Ray Gillen that, and and my name or Eric's name or Jeff's name doesn't get mentioned very much. I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm just happy to have been part of it. And I think a lot of those guys would tell you the same thing. To be playing in a band, to play in a band as great as Queen or Van Halen or whoever else, even Deep Purple, it's not. It's just great to be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely, 100% for sure. Angel, right back to you, brother.
What do you like the most about being a musician?
All the money we get.
Incorrect. Wrong answer.
Yeah.
I think for all of us,
Is that a trick question?
I think for all of us, it's just
No, she always asks that question.
the ability to be able to create.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I don't know what I would do without it, because it's such a blessing to be able to kind of to create things, but also to like put your emotions and whatever's going on in your life channel it into something positive.
Yeah.
Is a wonderful gift, and that's the best part. I don't care what happens after that, as long as I could just sit and make records for the rest of my life, and no one could ever hear them, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the process that I still to this day get super excited to hear the playback of something that's, hey, I wrote this on the edge of my bed and now listen to it. It's like this big thing, and it's not about all the other trappings outside of that. It's the ability to create and to see something through and channel all your energy into something.
I mean, for me, if I'm coming in with a riff or something that I wrote, and to see it come to fruition and hear the finished product is always such a kick for me. I mean, it's always great for me to hear what Ryan's going to add. Like I said, the template, for example, for All I Want was there, but what Ryan added to it made it a complete song. What Jimmy added to it made it a complete song, and what Ken added to it. So
Yeah.
it's always a kick to be able to hear it sound probably better than the way you heard it in your head. So it's kind of like just to be able to create something that's going to be there for however long, you'll always be able to find something somewhere from some obscure band. And if this is as big as we ever get, it'll always be there, and it'll always speak for itself. I'm pretty happy with that. That's, for me, is the musician part that makes it work.
Yeah.
The respect of your peers, to have people that are other musicians say, yeah, this guy actually knew what he was doing, or he, at this particular time and space, he was one of the guys, or he was one of the, he was saying something that was relevant musically. And that's the other part of it. And the fame and fortune part of it,
What is that?
and the money, it's great to make money at it, but I don't think any of us do this for the money. I think if we made money, it's all fine and well, but I think for us, it's just the ability to create something.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a reset button. You go through everyday life and stress and whatnot. So it's kind of a way to reset everything. And for that time you're able to do it or hang out and create, that's a time you're not thinking about everyday life and what's going on, out in the world. So it's a little bit of a temporary disconnect, and sometimes allows you to, plug back in and be ready to go for more.
Brian, wow, good question. Would each band member confess something to the rest of the band? We've done that. I think we've covered that.
I'm a lot better than you guys.
Does that include the Ken you're fired admission that we wanted to
Well,
Yeah.
it also includes,
We're always very open with
it
each
also
other.
includes how humble I am. I'm very humble.
Oh,
I don't know. Go ahead.
that's something.
I don't know.
You know what?
I can't think of anything.
That'd be a great question for a lot of other bands, but that's a horrible question for this one.
I think
And
that, I think that could be answered if you were to talk.
We're very open, there's that, we're pretty able to talk to each other just about anything. And
Mhm.
and we, if there's something one of us is doing, and we're very, happy to talk about it or be vocal about it, and nobody gets their feelings hurt or whatever. I think there's enough respect between us that there's no need for us to hide anything from each other. So I don't know. I don't think we have anything to come. I
You
don't.
know, it's
I do. I'm seeing all their wives.
He is.
I ate the last cookie in the dressing room with the last kid.
Bastard.
You son of
I
a.
knew it.
I knew it was
Actually, you
That's the one.
what
I
you
found out
guys
in
are
the parking
seeing
lot
and hearing is not something that we're putting on for an audience or you. We're truly all good friends. There's a great deal of respect and love for one another. And, so as it relates to, is there some kind of thing that you guys need to confess to one another? It just doesn't live here, man.
Yeah,
Now,
it
if you were
really
to
doesn't.
Ask maybe Guns N' Roses back in the day. I bet those guys, whew, but not here.
I drink all 4
Nothing
bottles of Jack
salacious.
in the van.
Sorry, can't help
I
you.
pissed myself.
I'm pissing myself right now.
We're all pretty much an open book. So, and we've been all friends for a long time. So there's really, we all kind of know what each person is about. And if they can tolerate my bullshit, yes, the more the better.
What is this? What is this?
We got a question from DK, the singer from Kickin' Valentina. Who's the party animal of the group?
Greg Chason.
Ken Rump
I
is
thought
our
it was-
social butterfly.
Tis
Yeah,
not
it is
I.
Ken.
He's out
It is
every
Ken.
night. He
tried to
makes
stay-
the bar scene every night.
Yeah.
He supports every local band. He's out getting drunk, walking around
Getting
naked
drunk.
outside the bars and all that kind of stuff. He's always got pneumonia because he never keeps his clothes on.
It's all in the name of promotion.
Well, he's kept his clothes on for almost 50 minutes, so that's not bad.
Somebody's
right.
got to be the face of the band, and
Yeah.
well, we could do worse.
Well, it's
It
not
could be
always
my
the face. It's not always the face, but
Oh,
I'm the teetotaler in the band.
Yeah. We heard some stories earlier, but
yeah.
they're few and far between.
Greg doesn't drink or do drugs, and there's a reason for that. So
Trust me.
which is the reason why the other 3 of us have a really bad drug and drinking problem. But we're trying to work on either us quitting or him starting, and at that point, I think we're going to be in pretty good
The
shape.
3 of us voted that Greg starts.
That's
be
right.
careful what you wish for.
Going with the wheel him in a Hannibal Lecter kind of thing.
Yeah,
with-
right.
with
Straight jacket.
straight jacket. on.
I'll tell you when I'll make it a very short story, but when I was in Badlands, Jake decided we would all drink one night, and I don't drink. And I said, well, I'm not a very good drinker. So
Not a good drink.
so we all got drunk, and I have no recollection of any of this. And so when I woke up the next day, Jake said, you were right. You should never drink. You're a real asshole. Apparently I was giving away everyone's food at the restaurant,
So
among
you-
other things.
So you have been drinking this whole time.
No, I think we'd know.
Yeah.
Sounds like we would know if he was drinking.
No, I'm an asshole just regularly too. So.
You got any more?
Someone walking in the background.
Yeah.
Somebody walked behind you with no clothes on. I don't know if you realize
Could
that.
be
What's going on back
There's
there,
a
man?
ghost. I think there's a ghost.
Yeah. That's my beautiful all I want Valentine's Day ghost. That's
Oh, the
just
one
Whoa.
we're gonna- The
Awesome.
one we're gonna have dinner with.
Is that the one that we're having
the
dinner
one,
with?
the one that you guys get to come and serenade.
We're there.
Nice.
What are we having, by the way, for dinner?
That's all we
Yeah,
can think about right
actually, the Metal Summit won't be live on Valentine's Day, so Jay can be with his lady. Steve can be with his fiance, Bobby. Can be with his
Can be
husband, and I can watch Pornhub.
Oddly, what is this question?
Wow.
Oddly off topic for this podcast, but what is your take on
Eartha Kitt. She's the one that sang Santa Baby. I actually have to Google that.
Eartha Kitt.
Oh,
I liked
Eartha
her.
Kitt.
I liked her in Batman.
Eartha Kitt.
She played Catwoman in the original Batman TV.
Wasn't
Oh,
she
in
in
the
I,
TV show?
she and I Dream of Jeannie?
I don't know.
I don't know.
She was
I don't know
Mrs.
that.
Howell on Gilligan's
She
Island.
was-
Oh, lovey.
Yes.
I
I
have
got
to Google
I got
that.
one, I got one for you guys real quick. Who does have or
Oh.
would have the pickiest rider?
Who does what?
the pickiest.
The
writer.
pickiest rider.
Like who does or would have the pickiest rider?
It's got to
That's
be.
that's
Ken.
Greg.
Greg. Greg
For
doesn't
sure.
drink.
Oh no, he said rider.
Right.
It could
Yeah.
be gear.
Writing
It could be
contract.
yeah.
Boy, I don't know.
I mean, we showed up to do a gig one time in Texas, and
And there was
here we go.
nothing there.
and,
we do like to at least have
We
equipment.
had a rider put together for this, what Jimmy required in drums, what I required, what Ryan required. And we got there, and it was literally, I mean, the
we
bass,
thought we were at the wrong
the
place.
bass cabinet was a 100-watt bass combo. The drums had never seen new drum heads, and they were open-headed toms. It was just garbage. The cymbals were garbage.
Welcome to Toys R Tots.
The guitar amp was no-name stuff. We wouldn't even play. We said, we're not playing here unless you can get some actual gear. And then the gig never came off because there was another band that was on the bill with us, and they had Simon Wright was in the band, and part of their riders, they had to have some DW drums there, and they didn't even know what DW
Yes, I mean
drums were.
Simon really legally couldn't even play.
Well, yeah, he has an
The kid that
endorsement.
was there,
So
but-
yeah, so
So-
you have an endorsement. You have to. Use
So, I
So-
mean, we want to have, I mean, we're not bringing our gear to this benefit for our buddy Heath, but they asked what we needed. And I said, I need an 8x10 cabinet. Ryan needs a Marshall 412 cabinet. Jimmy needs a quality drum set. And so we're not. So
I need a new roll of duct tape.
We're not
for
so
my
picky
mic
that,
stand.
we're not prima donnas, but we need to have enough. The gear needs to at least not break down in the middle
Well,
of
it's
the
got to be
song.
pro gear.
Right.
Gear.
Nice. No, that all completely makes sense for sure, man. Right back to you, Angel. I just wanted to throw that one in.
Right back to you, Jay.
That's cool. Yeah, no worries, man. No, I'll keep it going for sure. So we talked about the benefit that's coming up this weekend, which is super duper awesome. But what can you guys tell us about what's coming up for you guys in 2024? It's a new year with all kinds of good stuff. You got the album that you're aiming for the fall, but when it comes to shows, do you have more going up, or is it a little too early at the moment?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we aforementioned
We've actually turned some
Fire
down.
Rock, the new record label that we just signed to, who's re-releasing our record, our debut record from last summer. So that's now going to be available at Amazon, Walmart, Targets, online, anywhere, and as Ken mentioned, overseas, international as well. Finally, for the first time. So we're really excited about that. That's number one. Number two would be that we are writing, and we can't wait to get some of this stuff recorded so we can put a new record out in the fall or in the close to Christmas or something. So we'll see what happens from there. Anything I miss? Anything?
Well, you can get all of our stuff on the standard streaming services as well. Now
Yes.
there was a little bit of a hiccup when we changed labels, but now
Yeah.
it's all on
It's all back up.
Spotify and Apple Music and all that again. I'm sure we'll do some shows this year. We kind of go through modes where we're in the writing mode, and the only reason we stopped the writing mode right now is Ken quit showing up. I mean,
If only.
because we were doing the benefits. So
If Ken would quit showing up, they'd continue to write.
yes. So I mean, Ken would quit going on vacation. Son of a bitch takes like 8 vacations a year. I swear to God.
Golly,
God
must
dang.
be loaded.
Yeah. So we'll
So
play.
all those streams there, okay, I must confess, all the streams and albums and everything that have been sold have accidentally came to my bank account.
Yeah, right.
That's how you
That's
can.
how I've gone on
Me
all
and Greg
these.
have been embezzling money from Atomic Kings for 2 years. You're doing
Are
it
you
too?
ser-
No
Yeah.
wonder we don't have any money.
No, that explains a lot.
We'll do some shows. I mean,
If it makes sense,
yeah. I mean, we would like to open for some national sort of things, and there's a venue here that our name has been on their list for a while, but so far nothing has really made sense to us. We probably in the Phoenix area only play maybe 4 times a year, and one of them is probably at the parking lot thing that we're going to do on March 2nd. But if a good gig came up where we could open for, I don't know, the Stones, if Mick wants to call me and offers us a Stones opening
Zeppelin.
thing, or maybe Brian May could call me and we could open for Queen. I mean, we'll be up for that. We don't even really need much money. You know, just
It
we
would
would do
have to
that.
be worth putting the writing on pause, and because I mean, even though there are our own songs and whatnot, when a show comes, we really, we dig in and we run through the material. So to do that, it puts the writing on hold. So we've turned down some shows just because we are in the writing mode, and when it's flowing and it's happening, you don't really want to sometimes you can't get right back to that. So if there's something that's worth us putting the writing on hold, we would do it.
If it was high profile enough, we would definitely consider it. But there will be some things this year. We just until it presents itself, we're not 100%
Outside you guys' house for Valentine's
Yeah,
Day.
that's the big gig for the year. Valentine's at your house.
Right on, absolutely. When you guys, because you guys are writing for the new record, what are your guys' thoughts on like singles versus like a full release?
Full release.
Full release.
Full release.
Absolutely.
I'm a big full LP album guy, so
Me too.
I like to experience the whole thing. Sit down, take time out of my day for 45 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever it is, and check it out from start to finish and see where my favorite artists' heads are at. I love that. That's
We
one of
prefer
my
the
favorite
whole
things.
bottle of wine as opposed to one.
Plus, like on our record, we always kind of looked at it as a complete package,
Mhm.
and the songs all kind of how one relates to the other one, sort of thing. So, we've been lucky because the people that have talked about the record and reviewed it have all mentioned that it's all killer and no filler, and that's a big deal to us. We don't just write something and say, okay, now that we finally got enough songs, let's just record this and stop. We want to make sure that the whole overall package presents itself well, and that's important to us, and that's not going to change anytime soon. We really kind of believe in that.
Singles. The word singles is a funny thing anyway. Because the way music is now, you don't really put out I mean, technically, you could buy any of them single, but we definitely are to put a whole album together. And the days of releasing a 45, say, of one song with a B-side that doesn't relate to anything, but we definitely are full album.
What a lot of bands do now is they'll write a song, record it, and then they put it out.
Yeah.
And then they write another song and record it and put it out.
And there's
And
no
so
context to it.
there's no continuity to it. There's no context to it, as he said. And so, by the time the whole record comes out, you've heard it one release at a time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
so
you
you're
don't
really only
need-
buying one
you don't
song
really
by
need to
that
hear
point.
it anymore because you've already kind of wore it out before that, and you really can't see how one song relates to the other ones. And so, would we put out some kind of a promo thing at some point? Sure, but I couldn't see us releasing a single 4 months before the record comes out. I know there's a lot of bands that, their record's going to come out in the summer and they release a single in December. I don't see the point in that. I think it loses whatever momentum you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's not like you're releasing a song. Even back in the day, you didn't release a single to radio 4 months before your record came out.
Right.
So, we, from that point of view, we're old school. And so we obviously have released 3 singles, but it's in the context of the record coming out. And then someone can go in, if they like any of those songs, they can go back and research the whole record, find it, see what they like, see what they don't like, if that's the case, and, go from there.
Absolutely, for sure. And so for this next one, it's aimed at Ryan and Jimmy, but everybody, of course, is more than welcome on this one. But you guys mentioned being like Kiss fans. What's your thoughts on this farewell tour that just wrapped up?
Very well.
I honestly haven't cared about that tour.
Since
You know,
yesterday.
I wasn't keen on the backing tracks and the fact that Paul's voice was, unfortunately, I mean, it's
As
no
beautiful
fault,
as ever.
no fault of his own, but it's gone.
Sure.
And I didn't want to see him like that. I saw him on their was it Sonic Monster tour, and we had a lot of fun on that one. And I got to take my kids and my wife, and we had a blast. And I was like, I'm going to go out on that. So they played literally a mile from my house on this last tour, and I didn't go.
Oh,
I kind of, and I kind of left that band probably after Love Gun.
What?
Uh,
Wow.
Oh wow.
Well, I mean, not that they didn't release some cool stuff thereafter.
sure.
That I was getting into a whole lot of other stuff and was,
Jimmy's a makeup guy.
and the novelty of it, I had kind of gotten away from. And I don't know. The last time I saw them, it's been well over 30 years. And so I haven't really followed them or paid much attention to them.
Sure.
I mean, granted, I'll never take away what it was that inspired me to start playing drums, which was actually going to see Kiss live. I was 12 years old, and this monstrosity of a show and this stuff just coming at me, I was like, holy shit. I want to do that, and so I'll never forget what got me started, and I appreciate that, and I'll always tip the hat to them for that. But I've kind of gotten away from them as a band a good time ago.
I got you for sure. No,
I saw Kiss on Destroyer on that tour,
Yeah.
and I thought, okay, yeah, the show's really great and this and that, but my musical tastes were different than that,
Yeah.
and I just went to see the spectacle. It's really odd because Eric Singer, who I played in a band with, he becomes a drummer in Kiss. So whenever they would play in town, when Eric and I were friends, he would call me, and they played at the State Fair in the Coliseum. So I went to that, and I took my son when he was little, and my son got to meet Gene and Paul and all that. And there's a whole funny story about it. I won't bore anyone with it. But and then the next time they came with makeup, we all went. Eric set that up, and then I even went to the Kiss convention. And it's just really interesting to think that someone that you played with that was your friend is the drummer in Kiss. And I know a lot of people, Garrett gets a lot of crap about being it's a job, it's a gig. Gets to, he plays on albums with them, and he gets to create I think he's unfairly treated because, and knowing Eric, he doesn't care, but I just think it's unfair that so many hardcore Kiss fans put Eric down for doing it when no one else is doing it. I mean,
right.
Peter's not doing it. He's not even, from what I understand, he's not even capable of doing it. He's got some kind of illness or whatever, or arthritis. I don't know what it is. But, the band's going to keep playing, and Eric helps keep that happening. And so I think Eric's a great drummer, and the fact that he is one of the reasons Kiss was able to go on this long. I mean, he was in the band longer than Peter ever was.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and so he's a big part of that. And Eric's a top-notch rock drummer.
Oh yeah.
And so, I mean, what he brings to the table there is really valuable. And he sings. He's a good singer.
Yeah.
He's got a good voice.
So, while I'm not a Kiss fan per se and never really have been, there are certain songs that I like. There's starting at album one, going through their whole career from different points where, okay, yeah, I like Domino, or I like Got to Choose, or I like whatever it is. And
Domino's actually a great
while
song.
I was never a diehard Kiss fan, because I was old, I'm older than these guys by I'm 20 years older than Ryan almost. So my demographic is different than that. But the theatrical part of that, there's no doubt that they took what Alice Cooper did and cornered the market on it in a huge way. And from a marketing perspective, they are the kings.
They are absolutely iconic.
So you got to tip their hat.
Yeah.
I tip my hat to them.
Yeah.
And like I said, Eric is a monster drummer, and he deserves the respect of being that.
Oh, absolutely. And Eric's, and just like you had mentioned before with yourself, when it comes to like resumes, I mean, Eric also has an amazing resume, like with Alice Cooper, let alone the Eric Singer project, Badlands with yourself, all that stuff. So, I mean,
He's
Eric-
played
Didn't he play with
He's,
Black Sabbath?
played with Sabbath. He's played with
Yep.
Gary Moore. He's played with Brian May. He's played in in Paul Stanley's solo thing. He was in Lita Ford. I mean, he's done
Done a lot of
a
stuff.
whole bunch of stuff. And one of the reasons why is Eric when he's in one of these situations, he's a great team player as the hired gun sort of guy. He really thrives in that situation. And I think that, again, he's very underrated. It's funny because when I went to the KISS convention, I'd, done an album with him and did a whole, 13-month tour with him. And at the KISS convention, he had a question and answer thing and did a drum solo. I had no idea how good he was. After making a record with him, and he played on my record, and that I did a solo record and all stuff, watching him do this drum clinic, I was like, I knew he's a great drummer. I had no idea, the mechanics of what he's capable of doing really surprised me. Really surprised me.
Absolutely. No, 100% for sure. Angel, let's kick it down to you, brother, but also fans. On that note, it is going to be last call for alcohol when it comes to any final fan questions, comments, anything that you want to ask Atomic Kings or any comments you want to make. We will get to all of them. We always clear the board, but this is going to be your time to ask any questions, any comments, anything that you want to say to the guys. We appreciate their time, and we've got them for a little while longer, but we definitely want to make sure that we don't chew up too much of their evening when they've made time for us. So last call for alcohol, fans, and we appreciate you guys always tuning in. Angel, take it away, brother.
Okay, here's one fan question. What is your take on chromatic scale?
Chromatic scales.
I have a bathroom scale.
Chromatic is really, there's full of cool licks, but you can't overuse it. If you overuse it, it sounds pretty bad. But throwing in a chromatic run here and there, as Greg would attest, and me, very colorful, very cool, and makes people go, what did I just hear? What was that? But don't overuse it.
I don't got me no musical book learning. I only know how to play the 4 strings that I got. And if I'm playing a kleptomatic scale or a sosmic scale, I don't really know that much about it. But I just look at Ron and he tells me what to do.
I feel like I'm always having to calibrate my chromatic scale. It gets off. Warm weather really affects it
He
a
needs
lot.
to lose some weight. His chromatic
My
scale's
chromatic
broken.
scale is
Tilt. It just says tilt.
yeah.
All right, so we screwed that up. What's next?
Next question.
For people that like merch, when can we buy shirts
Right
from
now,
the band?
You can go on our
On which
Facebook-
website?
our Facebook page, Atomic Kings, and we also have an Instagram page. And if you wanted to order a shirt there, we do have them. We're waiting for a new order of them to come in right now. You can also get CDs from us that are autographed by
A different band.
the 4 of us.
all of us. And we're going to have a website
Right.
up soon, and you'll be able to get everything
Yeah, we're putting together a website. We're waiting
on there.
for
You'll be able to
everything
get the
in place.
album and shirts and socks and,
A Ken Ronk Speedo.
and Speedos, lip gloss, and ice.
Condoms.
Viagra. Viagra.
Lip gloss. Ken Rock.
Okay, we ruined that one too.
Ken
No,
Okay, next
Rock
one.
lip gloss.
I like that. Atomic Kings Viagra.
Nothing can be ruined on this show.
Tell me what band's ever had their own lip gloss. Come on.
Exactly. Only
No
only
band-
our
well,
show can
no
you
band
go
has-
from merch ideas like lip gloss to condoms to Viagra.
Right.
Viagra's a new
Ours
one. We've
Skin
never
colors.
thought
You
about
don't
that
even know
one.
you have
get your
gone.
Atomic Kings Viagra. King on the pill.
There you go.
Watch your love life erupt.
When the
And
going
don't
gets
worry, we'll
hard-
read some of that for that Valentine's
I
Day.
forgot the rest. When the going gets hard, the harder it gets going.
Oh,
You get that on Pornhub?
Oh yeah, that's a good place to advertise. Actually,
Ah,
don't ask me how I know.
yeah. That's a
Um,
pun intended, a hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass.
We have now slipped on beyond the PG part of this program, folks.
Yeah, we-
Okay, last
Yeah,
question.
All right,
Well,
if
Kiss-
you're
well-
watching,
okay,
turn it
last
off
question. Will you guys be going over to Europe by any chance? Whether
Sure.
it's this year or in 2025?
we as soon as right now our main focus is certainly the Valentine's dinner at your place, and after that we're open to go anywhere.
Once the jet gets out of the shop, we are
Yeah.
on our way. I mean, we're open to playing anywhere. I mean,
Absolutely
we'd love
we
to go
are.
play in Europe, and we'd love to go play all across the United States. It's just whether a band of our caliber would be, command enough money for us to be able to do it. We don't need to put money in our pocket. We just need to not take money out of our pocket to go and play. So we would love to go play, anywhere.
Yeah, if it makes sense.
If it makes sense. I mean, we would play festivals and all that kind of stuff. It's just got to, we have to have enough traction, and hopefully with Fire Rock, that can be part of that process.
Yes. All right.
All right, James, back to you.
No, totally, absolutely, for sure. With what you tried, with what you already released when it came to the first Atomic Kings album to what you're working on right now, do you have any particular like plans when you go from one album that transitions into another, or do you just, when it comes to your writing, is it just so open that when you feel it, and that's the direction you go, or do you kind of design?
I think so.
Yeah, at first, as we get songs piled up, and we feel like these ones are going to make the record, you start kind of taking stock and seeing what is missing. Like maybe we need a song that does this, or maybe we need a song that does this, and you kind of shoot for that, and then that's probably the last song you write. Because you take the album as a whole and see if there's any styles or anything cool that you may have missed that would really fit in well with the other 9 or 10 songs that you've already got.
A good example is when we were writing the last record, we decided we needed something up tempo. So very quickly we wrote Live, which was meant to be exactly what it is. It's supposed to be a very up tempo part of the set, and it works. It does what it's supposed to do. So, like Ryan said, when we get to a certain point, we'll just figure out what grooves, what time signatures, whatever that we think need to be included in that. Is there something that we can add to it? And if we can, we will.
We'll taste the stew and see if it needs more salt or.
Absolutely. Do you ever try to stay like cognizant when it comes to a new record, knowing that certain songs are going to have to flow and gel with previous songs in a live setting?
Not so much.
Not
Really. I think once
so.
the songs are together, once the record's done, then we kind of sit down as a band and decide how we're going to sequence this, where this is going to be, what's the opening song, what's the closing song, and then as we play, then we find out just because we like a song doesn't mean maybe that it goes over as well live as something else does. So, when Deep Purple did Machine Head, I read a thing with Richie Blackmore, and he said that one of his favorite songs on it was Pictures of Home. And they've tried to play it live a couple times, and it just didn't. It sounds great on the record. It just didn't translate live. And, as we write more and more material and stick it into the set and start taking other stuff out, maybe a song that really sounds great on the record, maybe it doesn't end up in our live show anymore because we've written other stuff. We're not going to do a 2-hour show. So we've written other stuff that kind of will take the place of other material that maybe didn't work as well.
I hear a cat.
I think so.
Is someone clubbing a seal over at your place? I mean, what's...
No. My girlfriend's making herself a bite to eat, and anytime there's any movement in the house, one of my cats just means that's all the attention for her. So she's like, she gets very chatty when people start moving around the house.
Sounds like Ken.
Meow.
Hey, so Nix, do you hear that? I guess when Ken's time is through, you've got a gig. So
That's right.
no, that's super duper awesome for sure. I want to talk a little bit too, also though, about the guitar store. How's everything been going with that? Because I love seeing the posts about fans coming in and all that stuff.
The guitar store, we've been doing good lately, and it's a good place to kind of hang out. Ryan and I can discuss a lot of what we do with the band there while we're working. And it's the owner of the store lives in another state. She's Susan Alexander. She's really great in allowing us to do what it is we do. As long as the store's making money, she's happy with it. Mm-hmm. And we do that. So it's a great place for us to rehearse. And I mean, I've had a lot of different jobs, and this is better than, you know, digging a ditch.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
He digs ditches for a living,
Nice.
and I didn't even get that way. So
Do you ever get gear in that's that it's hard for you not to be like, I want this to
Sure.
come home?
Yeah.
sure. But I'm also, if we get something that's really cool, I might stick it in my office for a couple weeks, and then someone will say, "Ah, too bad you don't have a such and such." Well, hang on, and then I'll go get it out of my office and sell it. Normally, I'll fiddle around with something that we got for a couple weeks, and then I'll put it back out to sell if it's a used piece or something like that. But I'm more. I mean, I have all the guitars that I need. Ryan has all he needs, so it's not like we're hoarding anything. And I'd almost rather sell it to someone that really
Yeah.
appreciates it, that's going to do something with it, than it's just sitting in a case in my house.
Totally.
And case in point, I had a white Firebird that was mint and just sitting there collecting dust. So I brought it here in the store, and we turned around and just sold it last week. And we made good money on it. And someone's really going to enjoy that Firebird as opposed to just sitting in the corner of my one room with a bunch of other guitar cases.
No, absolutely, for sure. No, that definitely makes sense when it comes to that, because I'm always looking out for like things like pieces here and there and stuff like that. But I would definitely need to, if I was to come into the store for sure, I would definitely have to be in there with my hand being held by Megan, because she already has to tolerate the 30 guitars that infest our little apartment already. So
I
be
feel
like,
like
be like in there being like, okay, now you can look at anything, but I don't know if I want you to touch anything.
well, you know, the perfect amount of guitars to have is one more than you already own.
Right?
That goes for drum sets as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they take up no space whatsoever.
Right.
So
That's awesome, man, for sure. Well, Atomic Kings, we can't thank you enough for spending time with us. I want to kick it down to Angel, though, real quick, just in case anything else new has popped up, to make sure that we get that, as well as any closing thoughts from himself.
Oh,
You're muted, bud.
Angel sounds
No, so I just want to
fantastic.
say thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
I try.
Our pleasure. We appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
yeah, thanks
Been a
for having
pleasure.
us.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. We definitely look forward to the upcoming new music from Atomic Kings, and that's awesome because, you know, it
I'm
never.
definitely buying the
never-
shirt.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, Angel and I love our shirts and CDs, so we definitely love that for sure.
Well, I love the shirts to look cool. I would look cool in a shirt, you know.
You look cool in
And-
everything, man. You're cowboy
and my
hat goes
car,
with everything, Angel.
And my car is a CD, so I can play the CD in my car, play it loud,
There you go.
use it in the back seat. You know, it has its purposes.
Oh, well,
Absolutely. 100%.
Will you please send your CD back to us?
please don't.
No, definitely don't.
Don't.
Do you have the CDs already?
No, I'm buying the CD.
I don't personally. I've listened to it online, but I don't have a physical one myself.
Send me an address, you know, on Messenger, and we'll make sure we get a couple out to you guys.
Absolutely.
Oh no, I appreciate it. And Angel's coming to town with me as well in a little bit as well, so I can definitely take care of that for sure. But no, definitely, Greg, I appreciate that, my friend. But again, thank you so much to Atomic Kings, you know, to Greg, to Ken, to Jimmy, to Ryan. We really appreciate you guys being open to the experience. And the biggest thing for myself and Angel is that you guys had a good time. You felt respected, you enjoyed yourselves, and that you felt that this was worth it. And you liked the questions.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Absolutely appreciate
You
it.
know what? Bands like us can't do this without guys like you. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys keep the music alive. You help promote the music. You help get it out to a wider audience. So we have total respect for what it is you guys do as well. So we're glad to be part of it.
Absolutely.
And we really appreciate everybody that tuned in. Thank you. And thank you for the
Some
questions.
cool
And
questions.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Absolutely. Happy New Year and best of 2024 to yourselves. Good luck with everything. Good luck at the benefit. Know you guys are going to absolutely kill it. And Angel and I will get that posted as well. So we definitely drum up some extra, you know, love for the cancer benefit that you guys are doing. Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Metal Summoners, thank you guys so much. Make sure that you're following Atomic Kings on all of their socials, their Facebook, their Instagram. You can follow Angel at Angel Alamo 78 on Instagram, as well as find him on Facebook. You can follow me at Just a R&R Junkie on Instagram, as well as Facebook as well. And definitely make sure that you're following the Metal Summit on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. That's where we go live. That's where the show can be seen. So you can watch, all of us watch us chatting it up with killer bands, again, like the Atomic Kings. So again, on behalf of the Atomic Kings, we appreciate them and thank them for their time. And on behalf of Angel, we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend. Guest announcement on Friday for next week's episode. And Metal Summoners, we can't have this show without you guys as well. So we appreciate you guys. Absolutely. Have yourselves a fantastic start to your new year, a great weekend, and we'll see you guys in a week. Again, thank you to the Atomic Kings. As
Thanks,
always,
guys.
you guys have been
Appreciate
watching
it.
Metal Summit.